Hello. I made a video a couple days ago about splitting a part in half, and I've printed it out now. The parts wound up looking something like this. Is a shortened version of them, but basically you can kind of see one side has a V-groove and the other side, I guess one side has a sort of tapered chamfer on it and the other side has a V-groove. And the idea is that these slot together and hold together and give it some structure. It worked pretty well, but these edges were pretty floppy. So before I split the second part to this model, I figured I was going to sort of mix this up and add more little fingers that can enmesh so that it's holding itself together kind of right up against this. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you sort of what I did on the FreeCAD side. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is the FreeCAD file that I showed you with a little V-groove in there, and you can just take this into Blender and kind of scale it and stretch it so it fits the part. And then Blender has a really powerful Boolean function, so it all works. So I'm going to save a new version. Part cutter and heifer. V2. But yeah, so the way that I did this was basically just with an additive pipe. So with that, you make two sketches. So the first one that I made was sort of the line that I wanted that to follow. So that's just the profile. And then the second one that I made is what's actually being swept along that curved line. And so I want to add more fingers, but keep this about the same way. Like that groove feature actually worked pretty well. And it's easy to manipulate in Blender otherwise. So I'm going to say close on that and then go back to the original sketch. And I'm basically just going to kind of duplicate this 3 times. And then we can just sort of stretch it and make it fit in Blender. So 50. I'm going to make these just for construction lines for now. So then line tool going up, line tool going down, line tool going up, and line tool going down. And if you'll notice, it's all red and yelling at me 28 and 33. Basically, those are over constrained because it's saying it has to be vertical and touching there, and that's too many constraints. So I'm just going to delete those and it'll stop being mad. And now it's 32. Cool. So now I'm going to just use this line tool, bonk, horizontal, then that line tool again. And then this, I'm hitting H to make it horizontal. Same thing there. I'm going to say that these are equal. And then we want to add in the little chamfery bits. Not chamfers, radiuses, I guess. Bing, bong, boom. Yeah. And now we have like 1,000,000 degrees of freedom, but that's okay. We're going to get rid of most of those right now. So I'm going to select all of the corners that I just created. And then one of the ones that I had defined earlier. That, and that, and that, and that. That's all of them. And I'm hitting E for equal. Now, vertical. Oh, it doesn't like that. This is one of the joys of FreeCAD. Yeah, it looks good. And then this one also on that line. And then this one also on that line. Okay, 3 degrees of freedom. So what still moves? Those still move. I'm wondering if we can set that equals that. 2 degrees of freedom. I'm gonna say that equals that. And everything's green and happy, yay. I want to make this a little bit longer just because I want to be able to select that area easily in Blender. And that'll hopefully make sense what that means in a minute. But let's back out and see if that breaks it. Oof. So I guess I'll delete that and then just try to do the whole thing over again. This, I want to do a sweep and the path. Yeah, that actually looks kind of okay. It's recommended, so I'm gonna do it. Body is not allowed. Now you see, it says that, but is the body really not allowed? Because it seems to be right there. Anyways, so I'm gonna try to use this to cut apart that same part in another larger one, and we'll see if that makes it a little bit more stable. Cool. So I'm gonna save, export as STL. Squiggly. All right, cool. So now we grab our blenders. I'm tapping A to like deselect and then to select everything, and hit delete to get rid of it, because all we want to do is work with what the import. So import STL. That and yay, we have both our things. Oh, that's the wrong one. Delete, delete. Import STL squiggly. Yeah, that's better. Cool. So now I'm hitting 7 on the number pad to look at it from above, and 5 so that we don't have like a perspective view. It just makes it easier to manipulate. Okay, so now I'm going to take this thing and say G, which means grab, and now since I'm looking from above, it'll just move in X and Y. So grab, and then I'm going to place that like right there. Cool. Tapping Z goes in and out of wireframe. So that's kind of cool. And basically I want this cut line, these cut lines to be like right on that edge, or right along it, I guess. So I'm gonna say, oh shoot, how are we gonna do this? Okay, so you hit tab to get into edit mode. And I'm gonna hit A to deselect everything, and then grab a circle tool, which just hit C. Then everything that you click over, you will grab. Cool. Now I'm gonna scale it. So S and Y. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Cool. That's actually neat. Cool, so we'll just have the, oh, this is gonna be neat. Yeah. Okay, I think that's actually pretty good. So now, hitting 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the 2 gets you to go down, and then hitting Z. So this right here is the bottom layer, so I just want to make sure that that wedge is cutting the bottom in half. So grabbing and Zing, grabbing it in Z, and then scaling it in Z. Oh shoot. Undo all the moves, and I want to select everything. I actually don't even need to be in, so I'll stay in. Okay. Focusing. S, Z, and G, Z. Cool. And then this is, I still want that top to be a little bit higher, so it definitely cuts through everything. So tapping A to deselect everything, and then circle tool. Grab all the top, and grab and Z, and you just move it up a little bit. Tab A, and now we want to look at it from above. And basically we want to just grab the non-wedge side and pull it out so that it's just going to be cutting through absolutely everything. So, circle tool. Yeah. Oot. Oh, got a little extra, but that's okay. Got that last little bit, and then if you click like the scroll wheel, that deselects with the circle tool. So we have all this, we're gonna grab it with G, and then just pull it in the X direction. There we go. Cool, so that's covering everything. Hitting tab, and now we're back into the object mode. And now we can use this to do a Boolean operation, which basically you can use to like combine two parts or cut one part out of the other, which is kind of cool. So add modifier, Boolean. Oh, wait. So the part that you have selected is the one that you're going to be modifying. So I want to select this part because that's what we actually want to end up with, is this, but in two pieces. Boolean. Okay, so intersect it with that. So difference is actually what I want first, so this will give us the left half. So we can say apply, and now if we hide that, there we go. Got a little V-groove, and it's got some fingers right next to that edge. So that should keep it much more firmly locked in place. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Now I am going to export. So file, export, STL. It's the left side. Left, S-Q-I-G-L-Y. Squiggly cut. Yeah, at some point I'll just clear it all out and rename it back to what it should be called, but yeah. So exporting the STL, and then let's do Control Z. So that's unhidden, and then Control Z again, so we can undo that Boolean. Now we just change the difference to an intersect. And that'll give us the opposite. That'll give us, instead of everything that's not intersecting with this, it will give us everything that is intersecting. So we apply that, and when we hide the squiggly part cutter and halfer, you have the other half. So that wedge should slot kind of nicely together with the other piece. We will see. Yeah, thanks for watching and following along.